Hello, 5th grade Shining Stars, and welcome to your first ever PlayPosit video. I'm really excited for us to learn together on PlayPosit. While you watch your PlayPosit video, make sure that you're taking all of your notes and showing all of your work in the packet. If you need to, you can rewind and rewatch a section to see what you missed. Make sure that you're trying your best in answering every question. This will count for a classwork grade. You're going to do a great job. I know it, and so does Mr. Smiles. He's giving you the thumbs up because he knows you're ready to go. Let's start with a do now. Look at question number 1. In the number 375 and 398, write the value of the 9 as a fraction, decimal, and in unit form. Go ahead and put your number into a place value chart. Once you've done that, answer, what place is the 9 in? The 9 is in the hundredths place. So how would we write 9 hundredths as a fraction? We can write 9 hundredths as 9 over 100. How would we write 9 hundredths as a decimal? We would write 9 hundredths as a 9 in the hundredths place. And how would we write 9 hundredths in unit form? Well, we can write it exactly like we say it, 9 hundredths. Now you try one. In the number 56 and 283 thousandths, what is the value of the 2? Make sure you put your number into a place value chart first. The 2 is in the tenths place, 1 right behind the decimal. So the only answer that is equal to 2 tenths is 2 times 1 tenth, or B. Last week we talked about rounding, and we're going to talk about rounding again today. Let's start by rounding 58,293 to the nearest hundred. First, in the number 58,293, which digit is in the hundreds place? The 2 is in the hundreds place. So we'll circle every number before the 2. And I know that this number is between 582 hundreds and 583 hundredths. Which digit will tell me which way to round, which number it's closer to? The 9. Does the 9 tell me that our number is closer to 58,200 or 58,300? It's closer to 58,300. So the answer is 58,300. Now you try one. Round 59 and 724 thousandths to the nearest whole number. Remember, to the nearest whole number means the ones place. Check your work with mine. 59 is the whole number, so our number falls between 59 and 60. The 7 in the tenths place tells me that this number is closer to 60. Let's answer one last do now question. Compare using greater than, less than, or equal to. What's the first step to comparing decimals? The first step is to line the decimals up in a place value chart. So let's do that. Go ahead and draw on your paper as I draw on screen. We're going to line up our 7 tenths with 684 thousandths. Remember, we can add zeros behind the 7 because they don't change the value of our decimal. Which number is greater, 700 thousandths or 684 thousandths? The 7 in the tenths place tells us that 7 tenths is greater. Let's do another example. Compare using greater than, less than, or equal to. You try this one. Which sign goes in the blank to correctly complete that statement? This time the correct answer is less than. 7 tenths is worth less than 709 thousandths. Now let's practice our fluency. We've practiced 2s and 3s so far, and this week we're going to practice 4s. Go ahead and fill out your 2 times table. Enter your answers on your paper, and then enter them into PlayPosit. Check how you did. Now go ahead and fill out your 3 times table. Write your answers on your paper, and then fill them into PlayPosit. Check and see how you did. Now let's do our 4s. Write your answers on your paper, then put the answers into PlayPosit. Check and see how you did. Great job on our warm-up. Now let's start today's lesson. Last Friday, we rounded to the nearest whole number. Today we're going to be rounding to the nearest tenth. We'll start with an example. Round 45 and 682 thousandths to the nearest tenth. First, which digit is in the tenths place? The 6 is in the tenths place. So just like last week, we're going to circle everything up until our tenths place. So we have 45 and 6 tenths. That's our first number. We can add 1/10 to that to say which 2 numbers this is between. 1/10 more than 45 and 6 tenths is 45 and 7 tenths. Which digit tells me which way to round? The 8 in the hundredths place tells me which way to round. Remember, if that number is greater than 5, it's more than halfway up our number line, so it's closer to the larger number. That's why if it's 5 or more, we round up. If that number is less than 5, then it is less than halfway and closer to our smaller number. So if it's 4 or less, we round down. Which way will this number round? Is 45 and 682 thousandths closer to 45 and 6 tenths or 45 and 7 tenths? The 8 is larger than 5, so it's closer to 45 and 7 tenths. We'll follow those same steps for another example. Round 51 and 972 thousandths to the nearest tenth. Which digit is in the tenths place? The 9 is in the tenths place. So circle every digit up to the 9. This number is between 51 and 9 tenths and 1/10 greater than that. 1/10 greater than that would be 10 tenths, which would add up to 1 whole. So that's 52 and 0 tenths. Which digit tells us which way to round? The 7. So which number is 51 and 972 thousandths closer to? It's closest to 52 and 0 tenths. The 7 is greater than 5. Let's do one more. Round 156 and 137 thousandths to the nearest tenth. Which digit is in the tenths place? The 1 is in the tenths place. So which 2 tenths is this number between? This number is between 156 and 1/10 and 156 and 2 tenths. Which digit tells us which way to round? The 3 in the hundredths place. We always go to the next place value to see if we're more than halfway. Which way does this number round? This number is closest to 156 and 1/10. Now let's try a few. Round 47 and 518 thousandths to the nearest tenth. Which 2 tenths is this number between? This is between 47 and 5 tenths and 47 and 6 tenths. What is the result when I round this number? The 1 is less than 5, so this number is less than halfway. So the answer is 47 and 5 tenths. Now let's try another. round 39 and 942 thousandths to the nearest tenth. Well, which 2 tenths is this between? This is between 39 and 9 tenths and 40 and 0 tenths, which is 1 tenth more. What's the result after I round this number? The result is 39 and 9 tenths. Now you try one. Round 51 and 873 thousandths to the nearest tenth. Don't forget to circle the digits up to the tenths place, write which 2 tenths it will be between, and then decide based on the digit in the hundredths place. Check your work with mine. This number rounds to 51 and 9 tenths. It's between 51 and 8 tenths and 51 and 9 tenths, and the 7 in the hundredths place tells us to round up. Try another. What is 62 and 429 thousandths rounded to the nearest tenth? The answer is 62 and 4 tenths. The 2 in the hundredths place tells us to round down. Turn the page and look at the practice example. Which of the following numbers round to 38 and 2 tenths when rounded to the nearest tenth? What do you think is a good strategy for answering a question like this? We need to round each answer choice to the nearest tenth to see if it results in 38 and 2 tenths. So let's start with answer choice A. 38 and 194 thousandths. Round that number to the nearest tenth. 38 and 194 thousandths is between 38 and 1 tenth and 38 and 2 tenths. The 9 tells us to round up, so A is a correct answer. It rounds to 38 and 2 tenths. Try answer choice B. What is 38 and 147 thousandths rounded to the nearest tenth? 38 and 147 thousandths rounded to the nearest tenth is 38 and 1 tenth. So B is not a correct answer choice because it does not round to 38 and 2 tenths. Try answer choice C. What is 38 and 204 thousandths rounded to the nearest tenth? Answer choice C rounds to 38 and 2 tenths. The 0 in the hundredths place tells us to round down. C is a correct answer. Let's try D. What is 38 and 251 thousandths rounded to the nearest tenth? Answer choice D rounds to 38 and 3 tenths, so it is not correct. Let's try E. What is 38 and 246 thousandths rounded to the nearest tenth? Answer choice E is correct. The 4 in the hundredths place tells us to round down to 38 and 2 tenths. Whenever you see a multiple select question, it is necessary to show work for every answer choice. You did a great job on this video. Now it's time to complete pages 4 and 5 of your packet. Please silently close your Chromebook and independently complete pages 4 and 5. You're going to do a great job.